9:17 a.m. October 23, Ocean Beach, BC. It's raining out. There's been a rain warning, so it looks like it's going to rain off and on all day. Just emptied my garbage. Gonna try another nap. Didn't like my dreams. Didn't make much sense. I'm disorienting. Don't know how to describe it. It's almost like it's like being in a TV show or something. Bizarre. Anyways, when I emptied the garbage, I noticed the do not disturb sign, which I put out, had been moved. That is now there. As you can see, there's a security camera right there that points right at where the doors are. Or is it? Nope, that's the electrical thing. There is a security camera by the door there. The neighbor, his has been disturbed as well. Not exactly the crime of the century, but it is. That would be technically the crime of mischief under the criminal code, and worthy of a whole day in jail at the notorious, deadly Oceanside RCMP detachment. Don't know if you can make it out in the video of the man over there, or whoever it is. He has a Ukrainian flag. I think that's awesome that people show their support for Ukraine, walking around a couple of places here in town have Ukrainian stuff, which is right on. The Ukrainians are fighting valiantly to prevent their country from falling into the hands of Russia. The Russian soldiers do the usual stuff the military does by killing with bombs and missiles, but there's also been a rape, and there's been documented cases of civilians caught behind Russian lines. When the Ukrainians counterattack, they find civilians tied up in the street having a shot in the back of the head. Sadly, there's a video of three Russians. They approach two men who are running at some kind of gas station. They pull guns on them. They just shake them down for their money and their cigarettes, and it looks like they're going to get to live, and then they're shot in the back as they walk away, which is pretty sad. There's also videos that shows up the Russians set up roadblocks, and then they shoot people who come down the road, like just right from the bushes, shoot them dead in civilian vehicles. Anyways, at least 7 Canadian peoples have volunteered for military service. They went over to Ukraine. They volunteered, and unfortunately they died. Others have been wounded and come back to Canada for medical treatment. I think they're very noble people, valiant soldiers, and I hope it made a difference and they killed a lot of Russians. Russia should stay in its own borders like Canada does. Just stay in your own border. You got the largest country in the world, stay in it. The Russian biggest church, their leader has a big mansion right next to one of Putin's mansions. He's a disgrace to Christianity, the Bible, the apostles. I've got errands to run today. And you all have a good weekend. Oh, and did you hear Premium Carney's speech the other day? It's made the media. He said young people have to sacrifice. This coming from a multi-millionaire who owns literally shares in 565 different companies, plus his stock options with his former employer Brooke Shields, which he has lost official access to move their headquarters from Canada to New York City. He won't reveal what they are. They're so valuable, he doesn't want anyone to know that. And he's telling young people to sacrifice. Hey, I'm what they call a boomer. I was born in 1965. I didn't have it handed to me on a silver spoon what little I have. I had to move from BC to Alberta to take a dishwashing job in Banff Springs, Alberta. I knew other people my age who ended up going to Alberta looking for their first jobs. The interest rate was 21.25%. Inflation was 10 to 14%. I had misfortunes in my life. I ended up in jail. I was homeless for 7 months once. My parents were alcoholics. I know young people have problems now that we never faced as young people. Like, we had drugs. We had drugs like LSD, hashish, cocaine. Young people have all those drugs too, plus new drugs like fentanyl. There was no heroin in our schools when I went to school. Yes, we had gang members, but they were Chinese guys, and they just did it downtown. They didn't do anything where we were in Richmond. Now you got gangs even here in Qualicum Beach. You got guys doing their Hells Angels stuff. When it comes to pornography, the only porn we had was like, Pedos, Playboy. I didn't even see a first Hustler magazine until I was 19 or 20 in Alberta. Nowadays, you got the most hardest core stuff you can possibly imagine. If you're 10 years old, you can access it on the internet. Even if it's illegal, it's pretty easy to find. A relative of mine grew up here in Qualicum Beach. He's not a boomer. He's younger than me, about a decade. 4 of his friends here growing up in Qualicum Beach committed suicide. One walked right into the water and drowned, and one of the other ones became one of those transsexuals, a trans. The only person I ever knew who committed suicide was Steve Hauck, H-A-U-C-K, last name. Why is it with the H-A in my life? Anyways, Mr. Hauck, his hero was Hemingway. And he had a shotgun, and he was like going to write the great Canadian novel and everything. He woke up one day, realized he was just a guy living in his mummy's basement suite, working the midnight shift at a fast food, at a restaurant. And he took the shotgun that he always had, because Hemingway always had a shotgun, and committed suicide with a shotgun. He did the same thing and committed suicide. He had some women in his life, but he just couldn't hold them. I remember once he pistol whipped with a shotgun one of our drinking buddies. Anyways, yeah, I think he was 28 when he committed suicide. Young people say they have it hard now. Well, it's never been particularly easy. I know someone, her first boyfriend was a heroin addict, and that was in the 70s. She was so clueless she didn't know that. The guy would pop back into her life over the years trying to hit her up for money and stuff. Well, enough of my story, and you all have a good weekend.